Many people want to know what happens during the initial interview. There are essentially three things that we want to get and information we want to get, and those three things are liability, damages, and causation. So other than the usual background information that we'd ask your name, your address, wife's name, your husband's name, your children, we also want to know essentially these three things about liability, damages, and proximate cause. Now, as far as liability, we want to know how the accident happened. So any information you have about that, it's important to bring it with you or at least know something about it. The second thing we want to know about is damages. What were your injuries? What doctors did you see? When did you see the doctors? Did you go to the hospital? Did you take the ambulance? All of that information we needed the initial interview, and it's part of an information sheet that we give you at the start of the interview. And then the last thing we want to know is proximate cause. In other words, did the accident actually cause your injuries? So in that regard, we'll ask you stuff about prior injuries. Did you injure your neck? Did you injure your back? Did you injure your arm? All of those sorts of things are important. So any of that information that you have at your disposal, or if you can get the dates and you can get that information before you come, it would be very, very helpful to us during the initial interview. And then the last thing that we want is information about the defendant himself and his address, his name. Many people will come in and they don't know who the defendant is. But if you can get that information, that's great. And witnesses, very, very important. If there are any witnesses, make sure at the time of the accident to get any witness's name, their address, their phone number. I know at that time it's oftentimes the last thing that you might be thinking about, but in many cases it's very, very important. So again, the initial interview, liability, damages, and causation, and that will be essentially what you will go through. And we will also have you sign some paperwork, including medical releases, the contingent fee agreement, which is the deal between the client and the lawyer, which we'll discuss at the time, and any hospital or other medical records that we need in order to process your case. Thank you.